I'm Katie Darrell, and today we are at home and social with singer-songwriter, Grammy-nominated Rufus Wainwright. Rufus, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a bit hectic at the house. Everything happens at home, everything.
I get excited just when the doorbell rings now. I'm like, I'll get it.
Yeah. We have painters here today, and we have the school going on for our daughter, and I'm writing a musical, so it's a circus today.
Zoom school. Are you a good Zoom teacher? Are you good at this?
No. I am officially, and I say it in a real way, kind of handicapped in the sense that I don't have the ability to do this. Thankfully, I have a husband who's much better.
Yeah. I'm struggling with a 5-year-old, and I'm like, wait a minute, how do you teach them to hold the crayon correctly? I'm like, this is worse than math. I'm telling you, right?
Yeah. But we're getting there. I'm impressed at the kids though, how they start to teach us about.
Well, luckily, you don't have to be a teacher because you've got other career potential. Congratulations on yet another Grammy nomination, sir.
Thank you so much.
So how does this Grammy nomination feel different than your first Grammy nomination?
I would say that I thought that it's more deserved per se. I mean, my first one was for a Judy Garland album that I did of her 1961 Carnegie Hall concert. So that was more of just an unusual kind of event. But this is actually a nomination for my own music, for songs that I wrote in an album that I made of, centered around my life. So I guess it means more. There's more at stake.
A little bit more personal, right?
Yeah, more personal. They're my songs that I've written. I'm also at a certain age now where I feel like I kind of deserve a Grammy, considering those who win them, and so it's So I'm a little more desperate, I guess.
Well, so the album that you're nominated for is "Unfollow the Rules," and I think I read in one of the press bios that you say that this is your first album of maturity, and I feel like you almost just kind of touched on that a little bit more. Can you expand on that?
Yeah. Well, I'm 47, and I've been married now for about 10 years, and I have a daughter. We have a daughter who's 10 years old as well. So yeah, there's a lot of shall we say adult material that I'm juggling, and I do feel that in order to really puncture, the severity of that and the intensity of that, because it is the wildest time of my life in a lot of ways. You have to dig a little deeper. It's not about sitting on the corner cafe anymore, smoking cigarettes all afternoon. It's actually about trying to raise a child and keep a marriage going and deal with death of parents and stuff. So it's very it's the stakes are higher, and I feel like I'm going for it. I'm writing about those subjects, and but it's still it's still a fun album. Don't worry, at times.
Well, yes, and that's I want to remind people it's a fun album. It's a good album, but in this shift in thinking and writing and maturity, does writing and creating music feel more like a job now than it did before?
Yeah. Well, it feels more, how can I say this? It's more, well, there's more, because I've done it for so long, it's less of a job per se, because I kind of know what I'm doing, and I can navigate it better. But oddly enough, then the stakes are higher. Then it becomes more of a challenge, because you don't want to fall into a rut. You just don't want to, you still want it to be interesting. You still want it to be relevant, and you want the kids to like it too. So you can't be totally disconnected. So yes, it is more difficult in a sense. The better you know something, almost the harder it gets sometimes if you really want to master it,
This Grammy nomination has you in a category with some pretty awesome people. We've got James Taylor, Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah.
These are your comrades. These are your buddies, right? You know them from the scene.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little younger than most of them. I mean, Burt Bacharach is on there too. He's 93, so so I'm still an up and comer, shall we say,
Sure.
in certain respects. But that being said, I do know a lot of them. One of the interesting ones on it is Renee Zellweger. She's up for her Judy record, and I know her quite well. I mean, we've had some fun times together, and of course, if she wins, I will be very happy for her. But I'll also be a little bit like,
damn it,
just because I've, the Judy thing,
I know, right? I mean, the irony.
There we go, the irony. But I wouldn't hold that against her necessarily. But it would be the universe would certainly be doing something to me at that point.
Well, these Grammys also probably feel a little bit different than the first time you were nominated because of the like you don't have to do luncheons and that anymore, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different things. I mean, they've been postponed. So again, so sort of you get all excited and scared, and then you have to do that all over again. And also, there's been some controversy with the Grammys, this year, with the Weeknd and stuff not being nominated, and so it's but it's I'm just it's but everything is crazy now. The government is collapsing, so hey. Let's go to the Grammy.
Bitcoin's worth like almost 50,000. Things are weird, man. All right, let's get weird. Let's talk about your Friday night concerts at home. Those sessions.
Yes.
You have a project. It's called the Rufus Wainwright Spective, right?
Yes, that's right. You got it.
And it's 9 albums in 18 shows. But I think, have you added more shows? Has the number gone up?
Yeah, well, we're doing the 9 albums, but we've also added a few other departments, like Rufus at the Movies. A lot of my most famous work has been for films, like Hallelujah with Shrek and stuff. So there's that, and then we have Rufus Rarities songs. That was a suggestion from some of the fans who wanted to hear some songs that people really don't know. And then also there's the Shakespeare Sonnets as well, because I did a Shakespeare Sonnets album. So we have some added stuff. Basically, my tours keep getting canceled because of COVID, and I'm adding these new dimensions to keep
you have to do that. You have to do that right now, and I think this is for a creative like yourself, an artist. This is almost flipping things upside down, because you were used to promoting music and doing it one way, and then COVID hit. And you have to really think outside the box. But you were already a thinker. Like, I already know that. In reading all your descriptions for your shows, you're a thinker.
Yes, no, I am. I'm a planner. But there's actually in the Wainwright family, historically, there's two generals. So there's something on my Wainwright side that is kind of militaristic at times, and it's in strategies. So we kind of thrive off of catastrophe. But that being said, I mean this. I will survive.
Do you are you a notepad person? Do you have notepads all over the house?
Yeah. I have iPads, and what I've done now, and I can't say too loudly though, is that our daughter loves to draw. But she's gone through some periods where she just kind of like does like a tiny scribble on a page, and then she doesn't want to draw on it, and then you have this entire pad with like sections of drawing, and I've started to use those as and it's beautiful, because then I see like these little pictures of her show up while I'm composing stuff. So it's a
collaboration that she doesn't even know is taking place.
Yeah. There's a few of those.
You mentioned the Rufus at the Movies, and that a lot of your most well-known commercial songs have been used in movies. I mean, we're talking, Hallelujah from Shrek. You wrote for Brokeback Mountain, Zoolander, Moulin Rouge.
No, I was fortunate to be associated with some big movies, all in kind of a row. Mm-hmm. So I owe a lot of my success to that period.
Yeah. Do you categorize those successes differently than your individual albums. So when you go to the movies and you see the credits and there's your song, is it a different goosebump feeling than peeling off the plastic on the CD?
Well, I didn't really have a sense of how that would kind of play out when it happened. I mean, I think at the time I had a very powerful record company. First I was DreamWorks, and then it was like Geffen Records and stuff. So they were able, and at that point, the industry had power, and they could really, place you in places. And also, people thought I was good. So I just had a lot of opportunity. And as I said before, it happened like, Brokeback Mountain, Moulin Rouge, I Am Sam, like all these movies at the same time. So it kind of happened in a big thrust. And lo and behold, it worked. It's considered, a significant part of my career. It was never intended. I never really knew it was actually happening. I just sort of said, sure, you can use that, or I'll sing that. And now today it actually is something. So I'm very fortunate that sort of happened. I'm very lucky, actually.
The song Hallelujah in particular, I think a lot of people, automatically think of Jeff Beck. And then
Jeff Buckley, you mean?
Jeff Buckley, sorry.
Yeah.
So my apologies. Yeah. And then Shrek came out, and your version is so sweet and it's so warm.
Yeah.
And then, since thousands.
Yeah,
It's like
it's arguably the most
song.
famous. Yeah, it's the biggest song in the world.
Whose versions do you like to listen to now?
I love Jeff Buckley. I recently, the one that really hit me recently was there's a live version that Katie Lang did in Australia after the fires there. There was a big benefit for the fires, and she did this incredible live version for a benefit for the Australian wildfires. So that's my latest favorite.
A lot of people will say, people think this is like a religious song, but it's a sexy song.
Yeah. No, it's got some blue lyrics, as they say. But you can do. That's what's brilliant about the song, is that it can fit into any category. You can sing it at a wedding. You can sing it at a funeral. You can sing it, at the bar late at night. It kind of has that. It's very versatile.
Do you still have dual citizenship with Canada?
Yeah. Yes. I was born in the U.S., brought up in Canada, so I have both citizenships. Yeah.
So you're one of those celebrities that actually can say, "I'm moving to Canada," and you could actually mean it.
I could. I mean, I have, when you have a 9-year-old daughter who lives in Los Angeles, you can't really do anything other than live in Los Angeles. So it's hard. It's easier said than done, but I feel very fortunate nonetheless to have that option, just in case.
When you look for people to collaborate with, because you've had the opportunity to do collaborations with so many fantastic people, what are you looking for?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Recently I sang a duet with Brandi Carlile, who I've met, along the way at various, festivals and so forth. And we just got along. And there was a song that we did called "Who Knows Where the Time Goes," which is a famous Sandy Denny song. And I don't know. It's just like a switch turns, or a light goes off or goes on, I should say. And I just know that it should happen. It's more of an instinctual situation than sort of a strategic one. So I'm just sort of I'm just open to the messages, shall we say, and I'm able to listen to them, and so that's how I usually decide what to do.
Let's play with some adjectives here. I'm going to say a couple names of some of the people that you've worked with, and give me an adjective of what the experience or the moment in the room felt like. Paul Simon.
Oh God. Frightening. In the best and the worst sense, in both the best way and the worst way. He's so formidable, so frightening.
All right. How about Boy George?
Wild working with him. It just never a dull moment.
I'm sure. Elton John.
I would just say, easy in a lot of ways. He's such a lovely, normal guy. He just makes you feel perfect. So it was very easy.
And how about Billy Joel?
Um, well, surprising, shall we say? Surprising. I mean, I've had a thing with Billy Joel where growing up, I think I was a little too cool for his music, to be honest. I mean, I was kind of looked down on Billy Joel a little bit because it was so mainstream and so kind of like I thought it was kind of hokey sometimes. Yeah.
Girl.
I was way too cool for it. Anyways, but then time passed and I sang some of his songs he was honored at the Kennedy Center, for and the Kennedy Center honors, and I sang for him there, and then I sang another song of his not too long ago for an HBO thing. Anyways, and he's amazing, and those songs really last, and I have a lot of respect for him now. So newfound respect.
That's cool. When we first started chatting, I kind of jumped over it, but I'd like to go back to, you mentioned you're writing a musical right now.
Yes. No,
I'm like Broadway type musical, theater, or movie musical.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I can really talk about concretely, but I will say that I'm, especially due to COVID and the fact that a lot of my tours were canceled, though we will do them eventually. It's really given me an opportunity to investigate, the world of Broadway, the world of the West End in London, and really start thinking about theatrical projects and actually working on them, because it takes years for those to happen. So this has been a good time to start that process.
Has it been challenging to convince people in your camp, your people, that you want to do so many different broad things, that you aren't just in one hole? Because doing a musical, doing Shakespeare sonnets.
Yeah, I've written 2 operas too, by the way.
Yeah, like do they look at you and they're like, geez, here he comes again with another idea?
Yeah, no, I mean, I really, it's funny because it's taken at least 20 years to come to terms with the fact that, when I started, I was really convinced that due to the fact that I was so kind of varied, and I love to do all these different things, that would be an asset to me. That would make me different and interesting. It was the polar opposite of that. It was a complete liability. Nobody knew how to figure me out. Nobody knew how to categorize me. People would get frustrated because I'd suddenly, be singing opera to them and stuff. So it was sort of, it was a real problem in a sense, but I stuck to my guns. Because I couldn't help it. It's what I like to do. And I think now it's starting to dawn on, the world that in fact, I was right. because it did differentiate me. It did make me unique in that way. And I have stood the test of time thanks to that variety that I initially that was initially thought of as a problem because of marketing and stuff. So
there.
Yeah, so there I went. I'm not a lot of money or anything, but I'm here.
You're here. All right. Well, Rufus, congratulations on yet another Grammy nomination. Good luck at the awards. Do you know what you're wearing?
I don't know, but maybe since we'll be, it'll be virtual, I'll just, make a shocking, I don't know, some kind of J-Lo move in the privacy of my own home.
Your
very low cut
sweatpants versus your weekend
So
cool. Well, thanks for talking to us here at Home and Social. Good luck and stay safe.
Okay, you too.